Hello, fabulous Leo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2013, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. I think about this idea as I look at the sky for you this month. I think about how one of your major life lessons, one of the important life lessons for Leos out there, is understanding that there is something within you that is worthy of shining and being seen, something authentic, something honest, something real, that this is a quality that is inherent within your soul. But the thing is that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't follow that up with work. In fact, a lot of Leos out there do work very hard to ensure that that light is recognized, that it does shine ever brighter by polishing whatever it is that they are called to share. This month, what I find really interesting for you is there is this connection to this idea and this life lesson that you have of inherent worthiness. And yet, at the same time, there's also an appreciation that ultimately that thing, that whatever it is that lights you up, that shines from within you, it has to be allowed to flow. So yes, there is work involved, of course, but at the same time, it's almost like you have to do the work and then relax. Do the work and then put the work aside for a moment and say to yourself, okay, I have to let something else take over now. I have to trust that I've done whatever training, whatever experience, whatever it was, whatever knowledge you needed to gain has been put into place, and now you can just trust that it will come forward in the perfect moment. You know, I think of the sky a lot as divination, right? This whole idea of divination, it's something that us astrologers like to talk about. Is astrology science? Is it divination? Is it something you're doing from inspiration, if you will? Or is it something that's strictly a skill? Is it something that comes right down to mathematics and nothing more? Well, a lot depends on the astrologer and how they're approaching it, but ultimately the entire sky can be seen as levels of connection with that divine source, that inspired source that allows you to live a life of divination, that allows you to live in a space where you are constantly feeling in the flow, constantly channeling something that's much bigger than yourself through you, and as a result, live a much bigger life than something that possibly you had ever planned for yourself. So I know these sound like really big lessons, but ultimately that is a huge part of the lessons that have to do with being a Leo. It has to do, that part of divination that has to do with trusting yourself, that there is something that is worthy, so you get your ego out of the way, and then the part of divination can come through so that you can sort of channel the energy. So all signs in their own way speak to channeling this divine energy, and yours speaks to it by getting ego out of the way. And the ego, ultimately the false ego, has to do with your fears. And so it is with you this month, and it's really right out of the gate this month. I am seeing a major shift for you, actually, a major understanding into what it is that you need to really shine and where it is that your own ego gets in the way. And wherever it is that your ego begins to call your attention is really a point of you being ready to embrace whatever fear, whatever insecurity is there so that you can heal it, so that you can let it go. And that's what makes this month truly special for you. It makes it a time of, and especially as I said, early in the month, it makes it a time when you're looking at yourself a lot more honestly than ever. And it's pretty much a result of a moment that triggers something within you. Now, I'm seeing this as a largely pleasant moment and largely subtle, and very quickly you get the lesson, you get what's happening. It's like you're observing yourself having a reaction, and you're able to say to yourself rather quickly, oh, okay, this is my ego. Okay, this is an energy that actually gets in the way of me really stepping into my light and really shining very brightly and really living a life that feels more fulfilling. And once you acknowledge that, once it comes to light, it is already on the pathway to being healed. It is later on in the month that you're actually going to garner a lot of support from other people, support from friends in particular, and what I am seeing is some very key introductions taking place via friends and introductions to people whom you would not ordinarily meet, and these are people who will in the future open doors for you. In fact, very near into the future by the time we get you to the end of the year. And so value those connections that happen, but understand that the internal process has to happen first. If you trust the internal lessons that come up for you in the beginning of the month, then you'll be better prepared to take advantage of those new people who come into your sphere later on in the month, of the way that your friends facilitate key connections. Because if you do that work, then when you meet those people, you won't have to deal with the fears at that point. You won't have to sabotage yourself. You won't be getting in your own way. You'll allow those connections to flow very naturally. And it is those natural connections that will foster the seeds for some truly meaningful connections, connections that will benefit you for a very long time to come. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.